Hi, all. Welcome to the Logistics Shakti Podcast series. And today we have with us Mr. Rajiv Bhattacharya, who is Chief Business Officer of Sugam Parivahan Group. And I'm Vikas Shekhar from VTrans. And I'm also one of the member of the organizing committee of the Logistics Shakti Summit and Awards. So today we'll talk with Rajiv about the industry, upcoming growth potentials, etc. So, Rajiv, when you see the logistics industry today, logistics business today, how do you see it? That how much potential it has to scale, or it is just going to survive the way it is moving?
Thank you, Shekhar, for having me on this podcast. It's a great pleasure. I think we are going through a very changed environment at this moment, geopolitically as well as within the domestic domain of India. Um, so I will talk about the international part of it first. And geopolitically, if you see that India is now getting into a league where we are talking about China plus one kind of a concept where India becomes a very important player in the international segment on the manufacturing as well as the service sector. Although service sector is something which we have definitely scaled up over a period of time, but for the industrial growth, I think India is poised for a very big growth, and India also geographically falls in a place where it has a lot of advantage because with the global going not only China plus but also the go east concept where definitely that is will help India because with our geographical positioning we'll be able to cater to the eastern market, also to the west Middle East market, and also to the western market. So that's one part of it. Now when you talk about the domestic, of course our consumption has really gone up, our lifestyles have definitely changed, and that is definitely making a lot of difference in terms of the consumption patterns, in terms of the length and width of the distribution which is required in India. And if you see today the quick commerce, the way it has come up, so that's also another area of a huge change which is happening in the logistic industry with the quick commerce. And in fact, there are quick commerce coming also into B2B segment. So it's not only B2C, but also in the B2B. I just heard, I was reading in news few days back, there are companies who are coming up with automobile spares just in time delivery, kind of within half an hour deliveries. So, so the whole landscape is changing, and along with that, the one of the biggest challenge will be in terms of the cost reduction because we keep on talking about 13-14% of our logistic cost, which has to come down to about 7-8%. Which from the government side, there's Gati Shakti and the other PM initiatives which are going on, which definitely helps in terms of reducing the cost. But along with that, I think logistic companies are also working towards this direction with the EVs coming in place, the road conditions getting better, the AI which is now coming, which will make a lot of disruption in the industry. So I think all this put together, I
Very
think
good point you have told AI. How do you see the AI playing role in this our logistics and supply chain space?
it will definitely change the way we have been doing business over the years. One, in terms of analyzing on the data what we have been doing. So we have been using traditional methods of analyzing, which used to take long time to actually find out by the time the incident would have happened. So it now with the AI coming, I think it will be more spontaneous, will be much faster to get the right information, the right cause of the issue, or in terms of the cost, in terms of service levels, in terms of the predictability. I think those are the areas where AI will play a tremendous
Very good. Yeah.
important role.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And one of the very important thing we have started doing is we have started doing voice call with the drivers. So AI voice call with the drivers to actually keep them engaged while driving, and also get information from them on the right.
See, while talking to you, one very important aspect of the business coming into my mind that see, people now started saying that with the AI in place, the experience will not be that important. The experience of the people, like we used to say, that 20 years of the experience or 30 years of experience in the industry have a great weightage. But people are talking that experience will not be that important if the AI is in place. What do you say?
I don't think so because see, when computer came, people used to talk the same thing. When internet came, people used to talk the same thing. I think that the experience will come. How do you use the data? How do you use what is coming out of the AI? Now that's where the experience is required. But because at the end of the day, it is an execution job in logistics. So suppose if it is giving you an indicator of a cost escalation in a certain place, so that has to be executed to cut down the cost or to take care of the cost. So which of course AI cannot do it, which has to be done through
So
a
with technology
experienced
only, you
person.
cannot do everything. What
No,
you say?
the, ex-
So experience will
the
have its weight is
absolutely the AI will give you sources, will give you inputs, which has to be executed by people, experienced people like you and me, which has to come. And of course, the most important thing is a certain sector, certain level of people, there will be definitely change. So instead of they doing data crunching, they'll now start looking at how to make the right commands for the AI to perform. So that's the change in skill sets which will happen.
great. And as a very senior professional of the industry, and I know you have been holding key positions in various companies, domestic, international, both. And now you are the chief business officer of a growing company, of course, domestically as of now. So, as a chief business officer, uh, how do you take things when it comes to playing safe or taking bold steps in logistics industry? You know, sometimes you have to take really bold steps. So, what's your approach actually?
I think it's this very apt question for leaders like us. When you are trying to scale up a company, when you are trying to restructure a company, so these are biggest challenges which comes in any CXO's mind. So one of the very important thing is bring the right focus, because what happens when you are trying to grow, you want to do many things, and there are plentiful of options available where you can keep spreading out thin and keep put your energies into multiple thing and not being getting expertise in one area. So one very important thing as a leader, what I try to bring in is the focus for the organization, that we do two three things, but we do these two three things well. So that is one very important thing. And when you do that focus two three things, then absolutely you go into deeper. You ensure that you don't make mistakes. You ensure that there are least chances of errors, and that's how you have a little more better precision in terms of the execution of those ideas and concepts. What you do it. And another thing is. Uh, when you want to grow, it cannot be absolutely safe also. Sometimes you have to take risk. You have to be a little bold. You
People
have to
say
take
no risk,
calculative
no
risk.
gain kind of
Yes,
situation.
you have to take calculative risk and uh, bet your cards on your team, because one very important thing is building a very strong team, because without team all your strategy can fall flat. So building a very strong team who can execute those plans cohesively is something which is the mantra of success.
See, one more the important aspect of the business I want to ask you that see, while attaining a aggressive growth, see, every company is now trying to attain aggressive growth nationally, internationally. Your company is also trying to come up very fast. So, while trying to attain aggressive growth, how do you maintain profitability?
No, that's a dilemma always you have. That's a challenge you always have, because once you want to have volumes, you you tend to lose focus on the profitability part, and of course, then customers also does take advantage of it. Now it is that team skill sets or the alignment what you make is in terms of uh, selecting the right product, the right geographies, the right mix of the patterns of the loads, what you want to do it, the right set of customers. Now, all these things you have to mix. Now, if you say that I will only take very large accounts, which might pull down your margins, uh, and the other side, when you want to do just small customers, then what happens? Your volumes will not increase. So, the right mixture of the small customers, medium-sized customers, large accounts. Now, this mixture actually makes the difference in terms of how do you play around with
Right
your
mix of
margins.
clientele.
Yes. Similarly, how much of percentage you should do in full truckload, how much should you do in part truckload, how much should you gain from warehousing. So all these product mixes also makes your balance your P&L. And then, of course, very sharp focus on optimizing things wherever there are wastages, optimizing, renegotiating with vendors, optimizing manpower, branches. So there's a continuous process. Means there's no one formula of it. Means every day is a new battle. So you keep on looking at those areas, and that's where the AI comes much helpful today, which will give you a lot of data, and then you have to
See,
immediately act
taking further to
and do
this
it.
question, I want to ask you that see, nowadays the this competitive landscape has got crowded. The logistics landscape has got really crowded. So, in this crowded atmosphere, so what are the actual differentiators for a logistics company?
See, when you say crowded, there are pockets of areas where it is crowded. There are pockets where it's not crowded. Now, if you see the express logistic industry is not crowded. There's still enough room for players to play in that game because there are only few players left out because there are acquisitions and mergers which happen, and so overall there is still a space. Similarly, if you see in the PTL segment at a national level, again there are very few players, and and uh, and there are still again enough room available for the PTL, and India is large. However, in a FTL scenario, there are crowded, there are it's a pretty fragmented market, so those challenges are there. So how the shift is happening today is there are a set of national players, which was earlier also there, but this is becoming more prominent, and then you have regional players. Now there's a lot of dominance of regional players because the entry barriers are comparatively less. So compared to a national player, I think there are a lot of domestic players who are playing, and they will play a very significant role in the whole national logistics. And this will be integrated with this national players. So both will get integrated, and they will actually start complementing each other, and that's why it will help in terms of the changing landscape, and everyone will have enough
So, you
room to
spoke
play.
about the national company, you spoke about the regional players. So, in your opinion, 5 to 10 years down the line, which kind of logistics companies will actually dominate the industry, as per you?
There are international level where the China one plus one policy, the geopolitical situations will definitely change the international landscape of the logistics. If you recently, I heard that India is building up a port in one of the Andaman Islands. So which will obviously try and compete with the Colombo port. Now, those are things which are coming up, and India port structure is also getting a lot of improvements. A lot of new ports are getting added up, which will help in terms of the international part of it.
More better infra, more better.
Yes, from the international perspective, from domestic perspective, of course, there will be a lot of scope of the cross-border movements, which like our company is quite strong in, because there will be a lot of land movements which will happening within the SAARC countries and also connecting with the ASEAN countries. So what will happen is these two things will help in also engaging the land, this one, and the waterways also. There are a lot of options for the waterways also coming up. Now, coming into the domestic part of it, as I said earlier, that it's a huge market. The demography is changing. The consumption patterns are changing. There's a huge potential. So there'll be stronger regional players. There'll be stronger, very strong already quick commerce companies who are there. There'll be strong e-commerce companies will be there. There'll be B2B segments going.
Technology will play a vital role.
Absolutely, technology and expertise in their domain will be the main thing which will come up in the next 5 years time.
Thank you very much. So we have just got Rajiv Bhattacharya with us, who has given us a lot of insightful thoughts about the industry, about the supply chain, about the domestic international logistics. So thank you very much. Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shekhar.